Hey, this is Asha, and welcome to another episode on Backstage Income, where I share with you how to build and grow a profitable business. In today's episode, what we're going to do is take a look at running an online blog-based business, or just an online business in general that uses content to make money. Now, you could also create a service from it, but in either case, we're focused kind of on a blog, YouTube-based business, something that's a little bit more content-oriented, solopreneur, entrepreneur, online, one person kind of getting going. And then of course you could build out a little bit of a team with that as well, but nothing too crazy right now, right? We're not doing high level programming, but something simple to get your business going off the ground. Now, in order to do this, keep in mind, everybody's business is a little different. So your expenses might be different than other people's expenses. These are just some things I want you to think about when you're looking to start and run a business, at least an online business. So it just give you some things to brainstorm over. So let's take a look here. I want to show you kind of an Excel sheet from my server that I kind of use, and I added a few other things in here. But basically, the biggest expense I would say for any business really is the employees. But for an online business, it's going to vary depending on how detailed you want to make it. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for you right now. Ultimately, what you're going to need is you're going to need a domain, and you're going to need some website hosting. Now, this is direct from my personal sheet that I kind of keep track of, and then I've added a few things. So these are kind of a must-have. Okay. Now, you might also need some video hosting if you host premium videos. If not, you could just use YouTube. If you need like Skype or a phone number, like a 1-800 number, that might be a cost. Mailing list company as well. That could be, anywhere between $20 a month, like Aweber, to $100, $200 a month, depending on your list size. And depending on how many businesses you're kind of running. So again, these are probably a must-have. You'll probably need internet. There might be some other tools. Could be a tax professional in there. And that could add up to about $250 to $300 a month. So you're looking at about $3,000 a year in cost. Now, you could slim that down if you run your business a little bit more slim, maybe $1,500 a year in the business. Now, if you start getting contract labor, meaning other people do the work for you, let's say they build the website. Let's say you need some additional software tools, like you don't have the software tools for photo editing, video editing. You need to get those, start adding in more money. If you don't have the camera tools, equipment tools, the hardware costs associated, you got to add more money. How much? Well, it depends on the tools. So let's say hardware costs, you might need $1,000 initially to get yourself going. Or if you're smart and you want to cut costs, you run it a little slimmer. Well, you could just go ahead and use your cell phone to record videos, and that might not cost you anything because you already have it. Or again, if you want a new one, maybe $100 to $200. So again, really, it comes down to you. How slim do you want to run your business? At the beginning, you should be running it very slim. Later on, you could start to expand things. So later on, what you can do is, okay, well, there's some additional tools that help you for scheduling, let's say, your tweets or social media comments. Well, these tools cost money. Let's say you want to run a webinar, Crowdcast, you want to run a podcast, Libsyn, Buzzsprout. It's another $500 a year or so. If you want some other things, let's say a website building tool, could be $200 a year for something like Beaver Builder. You could do some bookings through WooCommerce. If you have a support desk, that could be another $2,000 a year there as well. So now you're looking at, okay, $2,000 plus $3,000, about $5,000 a year. So for me, when I'm budgeting things on a per website basis, I look at, hey, does that website going to make me at least, let's say, $5,000? Because that's where I'm going to break even. Now, if it doesn't, well, then I have a problem. The other thing you can look at and think about, okay, well, if I'm budgeting $5,000 a year on a website on just costs, okay, just basic costs, well, to make 3 times or 5 times your money is kind of where it starts to becoming worthwhile. So, am I going to make $15,000 or $20,000 a year from that website? Especially if you can outsource a lot of stuff, now it makes sense to do the investment. Otherwise, it may not be worth the time involved for that kind of cost. Now, not to mention the money, but the time is also involved. Again, these things can continue to add up. There's other software where people get into some crazy things and spend a lot of money at the beginning when they don't need to, because they think, hey, I'm going to run this online business empire, and they run and drive their business to the ground because of the expenses. Because now we have so many tools out there, SaaS, service tools out there that are online tools, software as a service. And those kinds of things can start to add up very quickly. So be very careful with that. Let's say here's a couple of popular SaaS tools. You have Hotjar, which you could pay $29 a month for, which is another $348 a year. You have Asana. Hey, you want a task management tool for your team? Okay, that's $50 a month. You want ClickFunnels? That's $297. You want Acuity scheduling or some scheduling calendar tool? $15 a month. That's $180 a year. You want SurveyMonkey? $25 a month. You want the Buffer app? Okay, that's $15 a month. A 1-800 number? $20. You want some cloud storage? $20. You want Evernote? $8 a month. You want Flock instead of a Slack system? Okay, $12 a month. Zoom for videos? $20. GoToWebinar? $90. Already you're at $7,000, and even if you cut some of these out, okay, you're still at $4,000 or $5,000 because you're starting to pick some new tools and interesting things that you want to use on your website. And all that's fun and great, but when you're first getting started, that's a crutch, and that's very, very difficult. So I want you to be very cautious about this tools part. I'm not saying they don't make your life easier or they're helpful, but every business has different needs. And if you don't need a 1-800 number right now, then of course you could just go ahead and use like the Skype system where somebody calls you direct. Now we have a 1-800 number, but I also use Skype as well sometimes to call out just because it's quicker. I don't have to load up the 1-800 number system. So anyways, look at what your expenses really are and what you really need. And then think about, okay, what is it that I really, really need? And that's why I have this one column over here, high importance, meaning don't cut it. If I'm in the medium area, I'm at the point where I'm thinking maybe I should cut it. It's kind of, okay, I could, but could I live without it? So I start thinking about it, okay, it's a nice thing to have, but it's not super necessary. And low, maybe cut it, could be another way that you target it. Now for me, again, some of these things will move around. So sometimes I'll say, hey, okay, this has now become so nice to such as a time saver. I might move this one way up here. And now, okay, I don't want to cut that one because it's an essential part. So sometimes things start moving up in this ladder as your business grows because it's so important for you to run your business because it saves you a lot of time, it saves you a lot of money. But the problem many blog owners get into and initial people who start their online business is they get too much into the fancy tools, they rack up their expenses, and it costs them a lot of money and they don't break even, they don't make a profit, and they have to shut down their business down, their website down, and now that blog is done. And that's why a lot of people fail in this industry because they don't know what they're doing. Now, once you already have a lot of these things set up, let's say you have a 1-800 number, let's say you already have a couple of these tools, well, you could reuse them for other websites. And that's the thing is getting started, the percentage that you're paying for your income or for your expenses versus the result is going to be a lot higher. When you're first starting a website, your expenses, it's like with any business plan that you take a look at. So let's go ahead and pull up like here. Let's take a look at Elementor, for example. If you look at pricing here, okay, well, if you go ahead, their site's not pulling up for me perfectly. Let's go ahead to Elementor pricing. If you just have one site, you're running $49. Well, think about it. That's $49. But if you got 3 websites you're running, let's say 3 niche websites, it's $99. But if you got 25 or 55 websites, you're paying $199. So think about it. If I got $200 that I'm spending for 20 websites or 50 websites versus one website, $50 on a per website basis, right? Let's look at the calculator and break it out. So here we got $199 divided by, let's say, 50 websites. You're only paying about $4 a website, right? Whereas here you're paying $50 a website. And that's the thing with scalability is once you have these tools, you're able to ramp up on a package and it costs you much less on a per website basis. So creating a suite a basket, a portfolio of websites, a portfolio of businesses online makes more sense these days. If you do it individual, your cost on a percentage basis is just much more. So think about that as we go ahead and, look at these costs. You're probably going to spend about $2,000 to $3,000 to get yourself situated. And that's not even including contract labor, software tools, hardware tools, depending on what you need. If you need a video camera, other people to help you out and get things going, so you could budget $3,000 to $5,000 easy to get yourself situated and set up. And then you'll be up and going. And then on a per website basis, it usually will be cheaper. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was insightful for you. Watch your expenses. Don't get sucked into all these nice goodies and tools. And yeah, they may make your life a little bit easier, but those monthly fees will start racking up very quickly if your business is not profitable. So be very cautious and understand where they fall in your need pile. Is it a must-have tool? A maybe? Can you live without it? Or it's probably one to think about cutting out of your use because the expenses is not worth the value that you're paying for it. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to sign up to get some freebies, get on our newsletter list so that way you know when new training videos are coming out, and I'll see you next time.